Don't be afraid.
I'm not afraid. It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Welcome back to the Boiler Room. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Boiler Room. I'm Paige Schwalk, I'm your host, and today we have our first guests of the season. We have the Bonsai Tree Club. All right, why don't you guys introduce yourself, tell me what you do at the club, and I guess how you like in this weather.
It's a bit cold for me, but my name's Morgan. I'm the secretary of the Art of Bonsai Club.
I'm Fisher, and I am the president of the Art of Bonsai Club.
My name is Sai, and I am technically treasurer 2 of the Bonsai Club.
Treasurer 2?
Yeah, something new we did. Just this year, we got another treasurer.
Oh. All right. So, Art of the Bonsai Club. What exactly do you guys do for the Art of the Bonsai Club?
We lead most of the group in teachings related to the art. We try to help people to be able to learn how to style their tree and mainly keep it alive. That's about 80% of it. And then we slowly build up and teach them different techniques. We'll have different social gatherings, but that's most of it. The raising and crafting of the tree.
Raising, crafting tree. So, how long has this club been around at Purdue?
About 2 years ago, I founded it with our vice president, Amelia. We had just finished our first semester, and I had realized that we didn't have a bonsai club here, and I really wanted to get involved in one. So, us together, we started researching how to start a club, and eventually managed to get it going.
Yeah, 2 years. I think you guys are the youngest club we've had on this show. So, round of applause. I think our oldest club might have either been the photography club or the residential association. Not sure how long that's been around, but youngest club. Yay. So, bonsai. How did you guys get into that? It's a very niche hobby, isn't it?
It's incredibly niche. It's incredibly rare. It's very popular in Japan. In the United States, there are probably only about 10,000 people who really practice it. I originally gained an interest in it after seeing a few exhibitions at some of the state fairs down in Indianapolis. And over time, I started looking more into it, and eventually I really got into it in high school.
Yeah. What about you, Fisher and Morgan? Fisher. Let's start with Fisher, and then we'll come back to Morgan.
This is Sai.
That's
Oh, sorry. That's Fisher Sai. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry. You go ahead.
Well, I don't really know exactly when it started, but I had started growing a lot of trees, not specifically bonsai trees, over COVID. But I don't know how it happened, but I remember seeing bonsai somewhere and then remembering that my mom had one when I was younger, and I was like, I want to do that. And then some of the trees I started growing, I was like, I did some research. I started learning more about it, and I was like, I could turn some of these trees into bonsai trees. So I just started doing that. And then when I got to Purdue, I saw the club at the Be Involved fair, and I was like, I have to. And now I'm on the committee. So
What kind of trees did you grow up before you did bonsai?
they were mostly fruit trees. So like I was growing mango trees, avocado. Given this was not in Indiana.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, this doesn't sound like an Indiana type activity.
There were, avocado, mangoes. I did some apple trees, some orange trees, and some lemon trees. But then when I saw bonsai, I was like, oh, I can. And that was initially when I came to India. I was like, I could turn like these pines or like a juniper or something. And so,
Yeah. So where are you from?
well, I was born and raised in Bolivia and South America. So that's where I was growing up, because that's very ideal climate for them.
Yeah, I remember I once tried to grow an avocado tree in my kitchen. It didn't work.
Yeah, they're pretty picky.
Yeah. I did the whole thing with the water and the toothpicks and everything.
Yeah, that was something I noticed, because I tried to do that here one time around sophomore year of high school, after I came back, because I had done it numerous times without failing in Bolivia. I just would get an avocado, open it, put the seed in the water, and it would grow. And then I got here and I'd tried it multiple times, was failing, and I was like, this doesn't seem right.
This doesn't seem right. Maybe it's just the air.
Yeah, or I always thought it was like how fresh the stuff was.
Yeah, that also probably is.
Yeah.
all right, Morgan. So I got into it more because the vice president, Amelia, is my roommate and best friend. And so she started the club, and I knew very minimal about plants. I still do, to be honest. But so I do more of like the communication and meeting minutes, and I'm more of an organizational role, I would say. But I feel like I'm learning just as much as the club members. I feel like I've learned a lot. But yeah.
All right. Let's get started with our first snack while we all right.
That's good.
So I got us some rice cakes, which is a very traditional, because I did a little research on bonsais. While they're most popular in Japan, apparently they come from China. So I got us some Chinese snacks so we can each have some.
Oh, down.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to figure out how to open it.
Yeah.
All right. Rice cake.
So I've also not had any of these snacks except for one of them. So I've not had these rice cakes.
The piece is done. Another one in.
I said we just eat it.
Yeah.
Hope it's just going right.
No, you're not allowed to eat them. It's very light.
Tastes like bonsai to me.
They're not what I expected them to taste like.
Not at all.
I expected Rice Krispie because it's a rice cake, but not.
A lot of rice. Not as much cake.
It's like sweet when you bite into it, and then it gets kind of savory after.
I was thinking it tastes like really savory when you first bite into it, and then it gets sweet.
The reverse.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. That's good.
It's really good.
It's going to town. Is it good, Fisher?
I like it.
I personally like it very much too.
I like the airiness.
Yeah. I thought it'd be more dense.
Me too. Yeah, I picked it up and it's like nothing.
Yeah.
These are very nice. All right. So let's move away from the club itself right now. And why don't you just tell us a bit about the bonsai itself? Because I know nothing about bonsai trees. How did they come to be so small?
Right. So it's a very common misconception that bonsai is a type of tree. It's actually an art form. It originated around 2,000 years ago in China. And a lot of people started putting trees and plants. And what they realized that they could do is begin to miniaturize its different features. The branches, the roots, they could add root flare, and then miniaturize the leaves. And they could make something that looked like a small tree. And that slowly evolved into an art form that we now call bonsai.
Interesting. So what kind of trees are most commonly used for bonsai?
Well, depends what you're into. What would be easiest in Indiana is a juniper. It's mostly evergreen trees. Excuse me, like a juniper, a pine, some sort of spruce. I haven't personally done any of those except for a juniper, but I mean, there's outdoor ones and indoor ones, which depending on where you live in the world could be either or. So there's tropical ones that, which is actually the one we're doing with our club right now, a tiger bark ficus, but there's a ton of indoor, what we would consider indoor ones that are tropical, if you're into that too, but they're hard to keep alive because they're not hardy at all.
Can you do like any type of tree as a bonsai?
Oh yeah. You can do all sorts of citrus. People will do different what are they? Calamondins. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I think that's what it is. And it'll look like you have a mini orange tree, and when you open it up and eat it, it'll taste and look like a little
Like
orange.
what's a tiny orange?
Oh yeah.
Like the orange won't get all the way big. It's just tiny.
Yeah.
How do you do that? That's crazy.
Those ones are actually naturally born that way. The other name for them is Hong Kong kumquats. If you ever want to look it up. But yeah, some of the features we do try to select a certain species for, because it'll naturally have say smaller leaves or fruits that are easier to work with.
What do you think is the hardest tree to turn into a bonsai?
Be careful if I say what I think would be common as like the hardest ones would be ones that have large compound leaves and large tap roots. So large tap roots would be something like an oak tree or a Kentucky coffee tree or something, where they just send out a really long root. And if you're trying to keep that in a pot, that doesn't mix well together either. And rapid growers, like maybe like nothing comes to mind right now, but things with large leaves and taproots and something that you have to keep under control constantly, well, it'd be difficult to make a bonsai tree.
A good example of a rapid grower would be a willow tree. People have tried to bonsai those. They end up strangling themselves in the pot because they grow incredible. I think they're one of the fastest growing trees on the planet.
It's such a cool little bonsai tree.
Oh yeah, yeah, like a wheat bit, yeah. In terms of very popular trees, Japanese pines are kind of the epitome of bonsai. And I'd say the most difficult would be a Japanese white pine. Those are, when you talk in terms of like the elite trees in Japan and China, it's always those pines. And if it's a Japanese white pine rather than a black pine, then it means that it took that much more effort to be able to craft it.
So when you guys get bonsai trees for your club, do you grow them from like the seed, or do you get them as like saplings, or how do you guys do that?
Do you guys want me to take this?
Okay.
We order our trees for our committee members through a website, and we've done junipers and ficuses, but we do full-grown trees, and then we teach them how to treat those.
Okay.
It's a lot easier than going from cutting.
Yes. Have you guys ever grown your own bonsais before?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the trees that we use are really easy to do from cuttings. So we take tons of cuttings, jades, ficuses, all different varieties of ficuses too. So we have the tiger barks, we have weeping figs, and then ficus retuses. What else? Oh yeah, and then some of the more uncommon ones like Barbados cherries, and then a few fruits.
About you?
Well, it's kind of a sad story because, well, like I said, I lived in Bolivia, and then when I'm here, I'm like 2.5 hours away, but my parents still aren't here. So like, I try to keep a lot of plants, but I can't really because I don't have any space for them. So some of the trees that I had didn't make it over the summer because I left them with my grandparents and I wasn't around. But anyways, I have the 2 tiger bark ficus from the club, one from a cutting and one that I bought. And then just on my own, I started growing something called a flame tree. It's another tropical one, and it's got pretty red flowers when it flowers. And I want to try and grow an evergreen at some point into a bonsai, but space is kind of limited as a college student. So
Yeah, no, I get it. I have a bunch of little Lego plants, no room for them anywhere. I have like 24 of them. It's a
yeah. Yeah. Oh, another one I'm trying is a jade plant. I got one going. So yeah, that's not a super popular one or known one, I should say.
All right. I think we're ready for our next snack.
Oops. Some more than I could try.
All right. So this is the one I've had before. So like, well, there's seed out the back. So these are white rabbit candy. And these are some of the most popular candy in China. And so they come like wrapped in, I'm going to toss this to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
In rice paper, which you can eat. But the first wrapper is not edible. And then there's a rice paper wrapper.
White rabbit.
So it's a milk candy.
And wait.
Oh, wow. It's frozen. I'm sorry. So
It's okay. It's pretty cold out.
it's meant to be chewy, but
Awesome, isn't it? It tastes really good.
now it's very stuck in my teeth.
Sure.
Yep. Is it kind of like supposed to have the texture of like a Tootsie Roll or something?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But it's really, really chewy.
Okay. Well, makes it the last one very good.
I feel like I've been working on that for a second.
It's a real workout.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to, when I eat them, I tend to just like suck on them.
Yeah.
And then when I get tired of doing that, then I chew it up.
Do you
Yeah.
guys like it better than the rice cake?
I do like this candy better on the rice cake.
I do too.
I think me too.
I think I like the rice cake a little better.
Less chewy.
Yeah.
Like now all stuck in my teeth. Michael, would you like to try a candy?
For one.
God,
You get past.
I'm not throwing this at the cameras.
I got it, guys. We're good. That took me forever.
Yeah. Where do you get to that?
The international market down by like the theater.
Huh?
All right. Thoughts on the rice candy? It's super chewy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it tastes really good.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Now let's get back to more of the club focus questions. Now, so what do you guys do at a typical meeting for the bonsai tree club?
Do you want to go?
So usually we'll start. We try to do the standard stuff, get people to socialize. Each meeting is kind of like a new technique that we try to apply, right? So we go through our moment of socialization, and we try our hardest to encourage that throughout the meeting. But we give this presentation. Okay, how do you perform the technique? How do you not kill the tree in the process? We always go through a section of if your tree is currently dying, A, don't do this. B, here's what you can do to try and help it. And then we go through the technique itself. And that sort is that's the basis of most of our meetings.
The formula.
Yeah, that's the formula.
The formula.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Especially being in Indiana, we have to kind of mitigate to having very low temperatures, and the trees aren't used to that. So especially heavy emphasis on the what to do if your tree is dying, because it's pretty inevitable.
Especially with the weather right now. But it is warmer today. It's a little warmer than yesterday.
Bonsai, specific, just in college in general, is an incredibly difficult thing to do because it's really an outdoor hobby, and most of us don't have a backyard or a patio to work with. So we found a ton of difficulty in that, in addition to the extremely low temperatures that we experience.
It was also very time consuming.
Yeah.
In 4 years, there's only so much we can do to a tree.
That's interesting, because I always kind of thought like bonsai was like an indoor thing.
That's another. It can be done indoors. There's some species that can be grown indoors, but for the most part, most of the bonsai specialists, they've always grown outdoors. It's just incredibly difficult to do indoors because you have to mimic the environment of the region that plant comes from.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like if you're growing a tropical tree, you got to have like 7 humidifiers.
Yeah. Humidity, heat, light, all those things.
That does sound rather difficult. And then I guess assuming growing like a pine and stuff, you could like put that thing in any weather, because pines are pretty, or not.
They need a semi-dormancy period. A lot of evergreens like that do actually need to be in winter weather for a part of their year. Things like junipers, cypresses, pines, those all need a dormancy period in addition to your deciduous, so your Japanese maples, your maples, so the only ones that we can really do indoors are those tropical plants. Yeah.
Yeah. So, while I now have begun to understand the intricacies of bonsai tree, what would you say to someone who would think that bonsai trees are similar to, like, say, having potted plants? I assume that's like the most offensive thing someone could say.
Well, it's like we still don't have this down yet. Like this is the number one thing that we run into.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's like having a potted plant.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're gonna have to change their entire perspective without losing their interest in the hobby. As it turns out, it's actually this thing about patience and art, and it's not really this little pet that you can have, or like goldfish.
Yeah. It's like having a poodle.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. Yeah,
You gotta cut their hair.
yeah.
It's extremely stylistic as well as a poodle would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what I'm getting right now is you can say that I'm wrong. It's like a really complicated chia pet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
that's
We're good.
right, yeah.
I was like, oh, I might have just ruined the show. No. It's like a really complicated chia pet. Not that I've ever had a good looking chia pet in my life. They always look terrible. But I guess that's a good way to put it. It's like, so bonsai trees, I always think of them in my head as like being really little. Can they be like kind of like more of a medium size?
Yeah. We actually have size classes. So you'll get, we go all the way down from what's called mame to, I forget the biggest one, but the next one up is shohin. Those are the main two that I know of. So they'll get up to, the size of, maybe half the size of one of us. 4 or 5 feet tall, and they're still miniaturized. It's all about perspective. So as long as it's all about proportions. As long as the proportions are correct and it's in a pot, then it's still technically a bonsai.
All right. Let's do our next snack is actually a drink. These are actually very popular. This is like lemon tea called Vita, I believe. So it's like a juice box.
Okay.
I love a good juice box.
After that candy, I think I need it.
Yeah. All right. Here, pass it down. I don't feel like throwing the sound. All right.
Lemon tea.
Thank you. You're fine.
It's a large juice box.
It is a very, very large juice box indeed. All right.
Nice.
Oh, I like this.
Whoops. I just squirted it on myself. It's bad.
It tastes like something I've had before.
It tastes like Lipton lemon tea.
It's just
It tastes
like
exactly
regular lemon tea.
It tastes exactly like lemon iced tea, which is about what I expected. It's good.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Fair.
It's like a big kid juice box.
Yeah, I need more of these.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell ourselves.
We're gonna have to go to the Asian market after this.
Yeah, I got all this stuff for like $15. It was pretty good. I still got one more snack for us to try.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So do you know a lot about the history of bonsai?
A little bit.
A little bit. Why don't you tell us a bit about the history of bonsai? Because that seems quite interesting.
So when it had originated, a lot of people were taking trees. I have specs of information. This is going to be a little jumpy and spotty. But so what people would do is they'd go out in the mountains and they'd collect junipers with dead wood on them. They pot them up. That was called yamadori, or it still is. And eventually those mountains actually started to run dry, those junipers, and that's when they started discovering plants that were more suitable, less suitable for the art, and that's where you get some of our subcultivars. So our Kyushu junipers and our Shimpaku junipers, that's where they all originated, including the tiger bark ficuses likely originated around that time. That plant is nearly solely used for bonsai. So eventually it started to become a sign of an elite status. So you're people of power, in China would have, the most elegant bonsai. It was a very prestigious thing. It showed a lot of character and patience and perseverance. And honestly, to this day, it still does. It was used a lot to be able to connect to nature in Hindu culture. So there was a very large integration into that. Yeah, I've run dry. That's about it. That's all I know.
That's actually really interesting. I didn't know it was used as like a show of like elite status. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Something that's cool is just a little tree. It's a show of elite status. That's kind of nice. All right. So how many people would you say are in your guys' club?
So right now we average around 60, average members. We have to split them up between groups. And we've actually been largely limited in that because of the difficulties we've faced here at Purdue. Finding space to be able to keep the trees. Again, like I said, it's an outdoor hobby, yet, we don't have much of an outdoor space to be able to practice the art. So lugging around these trees and ensuring that all of them are all right, that's really limited we've had to open applications and reject people from the club because we just can't manage that number.
Oh, you have like an application?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
We closed that, or we are closing that for the newer years, just because we felt bad enough that we didn't want to do it anymore. And I think we figured out a system where we can actually handle where the tree, like how we're going to take care of the trees and ensure they get to people and that sort of thing.
So where do you guys keep the trees?
So we originally were keeping them off campus about an hour away at one of our committee members' houses. We did junipers back then. About a year ago, we did junipers. And we'd have to transport them back and forth because it's an outdoor tree. And that was just it was a complete pain in the ass. We ran into so many problems. The members never got to see their trees apart from at the club meetings. The one upside to that was they were able to grow properly, right?
Yeah.
Because they were outside. We've now transitioned. We did that for about 3 semesters, I believe. Mm-hmm. We've now transitioned to doing ficuses, and we're letting the members take them and put them into their dorm. So it's basically, it's their tree now, right? We don't have to, whereas previously we had to take care of all the junipers because nobody had an outdoor space to put them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's been a lot of trial and error.
No, I completely understand that kind of thing.
Especially with being such a new club.
Yeah. So how's it been going for the club since it's so new? So I'm also going to use this as like telling about how the trials and stipulations of being a new club here on Purdue. So how's that been?
You run into a lot of speed bumps, hundreds of them even. And one of the biggest ones is figuring out what we're going to do as a bonsai club because it's just so difficult on campus. That has been the single biggest issue that we have faced, right? Figuring out what we're going to do with the trees, where to put them. Keeping them alive, even just registering the club took about a whole semester.
Yeah.
I'm sure Morgan could rattle off the hundreds of problems that we've had.
Yeah, there's been a lot, but that doesn't stop us from having an endless amount of interest in the club. I feel like every time we do our activity fair or the club fair, we have like a lot of interest. And for me, Fisher has been telling me like, no, there's like a lot of people who are into this. And for me, it's just shocking every time. I'm like, I did not know this many people would be interested in bonsai. But yeah,
it's really nice to hear that you guys, even though you go through all this bullshit sometimes, and but the love of bonsai still like wins out in the end. So that way that these guys are the real deal. These guys are the real deal. If you like bonsai, these are the guys. So if these people like bonsai, how do they get involved with your club? When do you guys meet? Where do you meet?
So most of that can be found on our website. We usually host a call out at the beginning of the year where we'll post all of our information. That website as well. We'll have all the meeting dates, and then we host a few events that we post on Boiler Link as well. And then we post on our Instagram every once in a while if anybody wants to check that out.
Why don't you guys go ahead and plug that? Well, your Instagram, your
It's Purdue_Bonsai. I'm pretty sure I can check just to confirm. But yeah, we do like a lot of our posts on there are like specialized events. We've had talks with a professor who was doing some bonsai techniques in his research, and we do socials like going hiking and just other things outside of bonsai, just so that people can really cultivate the relationships they make within the club. But that's nice. I'll check the Instagram handle.
All right. Do you guys find that people within your club come from like one specific type of major, like a lot of people from agriculture, a lot of people from like botany, or do you guys see like from all walks of majors, I suppose?
I would say it's extremely diverse, but that's just how I see it. We have a very wide range of majors. Every once in a while we'll hit, we have like horticulture majors as well. I would say with a decent amount, a lot of engineers. A lot of engineers.
Well, there are a lot of engineers here.
So yeah, I would say it's diverse, but would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely. That surprises me because for me, I'm a horticulture major and I would expect a lot more horticulture majors to be in there, but they're not like, I'll ask someone in there, I'm in engineering. And it's like, I was like, what? So it just shows like it's just a hobby that a lot of people are interested in, but don't know a whole lot about. So.
Yeah.
What majors are you two? I forgot to ask her before.
I'm in computer science.
There we go.
I'm in brain and behavioral sciences, but I'm minoring in human development and family studies.
Very diverse cast of characters over here.
Yes.
All right. We're going to take a short pause and I'm going to go get paper towels to put our final snack on.
A few moments later.
It does end actually, surprisingly. 35 years is for a it's an extremely long-term practice. The pines that I was talking about, those would have been, there are some that have been around for 400 years. But to get it to that point, 35 years is a good estimate.
In case you didn't hear, our producer and cameraman, Michael, asked how long is like the bonsai tree commitment. 35 years. That's like 14 years older than I am. I forgot how old I was for a second. I had to do the math.
That's not to say that every tree will take that long. A lot of the mame, which are very small trees, I like those a lot. You can do those in 3 or 4 years. It doesn't take that long. Shohin, you can get anywhere from 15 to that 30 mark, and then anything larger, I'd say 15 to 40. But yeah, anything larger, you would need to chop down like a full grown tree.
That is a long time. Yes. All right. So for our final snack, totally honest, I'm not entirely sure what it is. It is like this potato. It's like this honey potato chip thing.
Oh,
They kind of look like veggie straws.
That sounds good.
they do look like veggie straws.
So I think they're supposed to be
Beefy version of veggie straw.
like sweet and like savory.
Whoa.
I really like these. Whoa.
That is an interesting flavor.
Kind of reminds me of Pringles.
Yeah.
I would say it reminds me of the rice cake a little bit.
I like these way more than the rice cake. I don't know why.
Really?
I don't know why.
I think I like the rice cake more.
I like these a lot.
Me
I
too.
would eat them for like a movie or something.
Yeah.
Really?
Like when we stream Wicked for our social.
Never mind. They don't taste like the rice cake. They remind me of something. I think it's veggie straws. They probably remind me of. I don't know.
Can you say they remind you of Pringles?
Yeah.
Man, I could see that.
I can't tell if it's sweet or savory. It's like
It's both.
it's both.
It's definitely both.
It's like both, but it's neither. Yeah. I'm happy I picked good snacks.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about this.
No, you picked very good snacks, I'd say.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right. While we finish our final snack, let's finish with some closing thoughts. So why don't you once again plug everything? When's your next meeting? Do you have any upcoming special events or anything like that?
Oh, you want me to just find one of the things? Okay. We have our Instagram, which is Purdue Bonsai. We meet on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We'll probably have our next call out for next semester for new members. You can find us at the beginning of the fall semester to join the club. If you have any questions, you can email us. What's our email?
abc@purdue.edu.
ABC?
Yep.
At
Purdue Bonsai.
Ah.
That makes sense. We have our website, tinytrees.net. Is there anything else I'm forgetting?
fundraising.
Fundraising. Yeah, you'll see us at some booths sometimes. Maybe in the Union, around campus. So definitely stop and check that out.
All right. That all sounds very fun. And I wish you all the best on your bonsai endeavors. All right. I've been Paige Falk. I've been the host of the Boiler Room, and I will see you next time. Oh, before I go, very important. February 4th, coming to BoilerTV on Purdue, available to anyone on a PAL 3.0 network. We have Wicked coming soon. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Once again, I've been Paige Falk. This has been the Boiler Room. This has been the Art of Bonsai Club. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
And thank you for the snacks.
Yes. You guys can take some of the leftover snacks I have.
Whoa. Yeah, it's strange.
You're like,
My ears aren't as powerful anymore.
us.
What movies are out this month?
Alright, now that you've told me that, I'm ecstatic. We're gonna watch Wicked. It's the social, guys. You wanna watch Wicked as a social?
We should do that.
If we do, I will be there, but I won't recommend or not recommend.
That'd be really good for the winner.
It'd be so fun. I love Wicked.
We should watch Karate Kid or something because
Everyone,
bonsai.
when they come up to us at Activity Fair, they'll be like, oh, like from Karate
You
Kid.
could basically have your own theater in like one of the classrooms.
We should watch Karate Kid. So many people talk about it to us. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's the first thing that people will think of when they come up to us. If they don't know it
Oh, I wasn't
from pure
supposed to.
interest, they know us from Karate Kid.
I did too. I was like, oh, just wait a second.